would you describe what makes someone a true Montanan?
Well, my name's Doug Hollowell. I'm 86 years old. I was born in 1938. You can put figures together and see that I'm right. And I was born kind of rough and lived kind of rough life. I really don't give a damn much what I say. And those that don't like it can get the hell out of here. And
Here you go. Yeah.
my dad came out here in 1908 in an immigrant train from Illinois. My dad and 3 sisters, and then my grandpa and his wife. They stayed overnight in Hardships, and the next day they loaded up their wagon and went to their homestead. But anyway, they homesteaded there for, 15 years, I guess. When I was born, and my dad come tearing in and looked at me, he said, "Now I know why they have birth control." You know, I probably wasn't very good looking then, you know, right after you're born. But anyway, the next day they took me out to the old log house down on this island where we was raised, and I lived there for, about 10 or 12 years. And I had to walk to school a mile every day, walk that school. And me and my 3 sisters. My dad never had a cigarette in his mouth in his lifetime, never had a drink. Just one time in his life when I thought when I had the flu real bad, and I went to Forsyth, I batched out here on the place. And I went to Forsyth, and my dad was an engineer on the railroad. And Mom said, "Gene's in bed with it. He's got the flu bad." I said, "So do I. But I'm going downtown and get a couple of shots of blackberry brandy." And my dad said, "Does that help?" I said, "Yeah." And by God, I'll go with you. So we went down to the bar. And old Ray Buckley's standing in the bar. He set me and Dad a shot of blackberry brandy. And Dad goes like this. "Jesus Christ, give me back the flu," he said. That's all he ever drank. And we had the farm, sit behind a little horse and dump rakes, and you was doing all right as long as the wind was coming from your back. But if it was coming from the front and them horses farted, you had a hell of a time sitting on that dump rake. And then every once in a while a rattlesnake would come up in the hay. He'd be laying under the wind, he'd come up in the hay, and we'd buck that hay up. And in the wintertime, we had a team of horses and a wagon, and we'd take that wagon and take it up the lane to the haystack, pitch it full of hay, go home, pitch it off to the cows. Then we'd go back up and load it again for the next day. When we go out to work now, it ain't no work. I jump on that 4-wheeler or that side-by-side, go to where I'm irrigating, change the dam or ditches or something, or else I sit and watch the pivots run, you know. Hell, a lot of times in the wintertime when I ain't got nothing to do, I'll jump in my pickup, or side-by-side, put my tools in it, go run through a fence, just so I gotta fix it.
Just so you got something to do.
Yeah, so I gotta fix it back up, see. My mother had a cellar. I bet it had 400 or 500 jars of vegetables in it, canned up and stuff. And then we had a big old thing full of taters. I was kind of a little dumb kid when I was little. She made us say prayers. We had to say our prayers every night, and I couldn't learn them. "You learn that prayer." I said, "Oh, God did this and that and stuff." That's the way I was raised, you know. And I can remember, I must have been, well, this had to have been 43 or 44. Us kids was playing out on the island, and here comes this black car, and it had a great big white star on the side of it. And I can remember these 2 guys getting out of that car, and they had this flag. And they went up and knocked on the door of my folks at that old shack. And I remember my mother and her sister were standing there, and they were folding this flag, and they gave it to her. And then they left, and we went in the house. And my mother and her sister were bawling. And her husband got killed in Normandy. And I remember that, you know. That's when I want to be with him guy, you know. So when I went in the service, I was an old dumb country boy. See? Didn't know shit. Them recruiters, they were crooked bastards. I said, well, will I be flying airplanes? And this guy said, oh, hell yeah, by the score you got here. So we got down there in Lackland Air Force Base and got on that bus. And them TIs chewed us out, said, but I even forgot what a goddamn airplane looked like. You know? So then we was there about a month. And one day I said, oh, the TI stopped and give us, I didn't smoke, but they give us a smoke break, and we were all sitting there, and he said, hey, you guys want to ask any questions? You were scared to ask for something? Yes, who asked a question? A dumb son of a bitch from Montana. I said, yes, sir. I said, how long will it be before we be flying airplanes? Yeah, what? Come up here. 59 guys sitting there, me standing. He says, He says, what'd you say? I said, how long will it be before we start flying airplanes? Where in the hell did you come up with that at? I said, that recruiter told me that I'd be flying airplanes in a month. Oh, you want to fly an airplane? I said, yes, sir. He said, all right, start flying. And I stand there looking at him, you know. He said, you better start flying that goddamn airplane or you'll run around that parade field. I said, well, what I got to do? Put some wings on it. So I go like this. Now get flying. So I'm going like this, and these guys are laughing. I'm going like, I'm ready to ball. He says, stop. He says, airplane got engines on them? I said, yes, sir. He said, I don't hear no engines on this one. I want to hear some engines. So here I am, dive bombing. That taught me that don't ask any questions. Well, when I used to walk, if we went to some places like Athens, Greece, and we'd go by the embassy, and there'd be the American flag, the chills just ran through me, you know. Goddamn, when you go to a place and you're an American, and you got everything we got, American, yeah, it's the best place in the world to be. See, when I got out of service, I could have been a reverend. I was standing on the corner talking to a bunch of guys one day, and there was about 8-10 guys coming around, and I was telling, and there was a guy come up there. So I got done bullshitting, and I started leaving, and the guy said, Doug, come over here. I said, I go in, and he says, you know, you're a good talker. He said, you should be spreading the word. I said, what are you talking about? He said, people listen to you. You should be spreading the word. I said, what do I got to do? Well, our church can send you to Richard, North Dakota, to that seminary out there. And he said, in 3 months, you'll be spreading the word to people. So I went out there for 3 months. And then it come time for my first sermon. And I'm up on the stage, they got the curtain closed, and I peek out through that curtain. God, I seen about 70, 80 people sitting out there. And I closed the curtain. He said, nervous, aren't you? And I said, yeah. He said, underneath that pulpit is 2 jugs of wine. They're the body of Jesus Christ. When you get nervous, just drop something on the floor and bend down, pick it up, stick your head in there and take a big shot of that. Well, sermon was over. I was drunk as a son of a bitch. There was no more blood. And I meet people at the door, shaking hands with them. They call me Duggar, Reverend Duggar. Oh, Reverend Duggar, you did good, good. You know, when people go to church, they don't listen to a lot of shit. You know that. When they can't tell you what the priest or whoever said after it because you can't understand that shit. So here come this little woman. And she was about 80 years old. She said, Reverend Duggar, you did a fairly good job, but you made 2 horrible mistakes. I said, what was it? She said, well, when you were given the events of the community, what's going to happen? There's going to be a taffy pull at Mrs. Peters' house tonight, not no Peter pull at Mrs. Taffy's house. Did I say that? She said, yeah. Well, what was the other one? Well, she said, Reverend Duggar, David slew Goliath. He didn't knock his fucking head off. So they didn't, no. I hear a song called Running Bear. I revised it. This is my version. I was in the bathtub taking a shower. I don't recall the hour. I heard the siren way across town. Looked out the door, my house burned down. Running bare down the sidewalk, neighbors seeing what they could see. Running bare down the sidewalk, now running bare is what they call me. My old girlfriend said come around, 'cause her boyfriend, he's out of town. After I got there, I got in a fight with some guys in Forsyth, and I beat the shit out of this guy. And he was supposed to be one of the toughest guys around. So him and this guy, they were gonna shoot me, they were gonna kill me, see. So the guy I was working for, Alec West, he was around or something, this too. He was a fighting bastard. So he tells Frankie, he was working for his uncle, George Kramer, we were both driving beat truck. Oh, Alec told me them guys were gonna kill you and stuff. I said, well, I'm going down there tonight and I'll straighten that summers out quick. He went and told Frankie, down his brother, he said, Doug's going down there tonight, and he said, you better go with him, because there's gonna be something bad happening. So Frankie come and jumped up on my beat truck when I was sitting at the beat dump. And he said, you're going to Forsyth tonight and whip all these guys down there. And I said, yeah. And he said, I'll go with you. So me and Frankie become buddies. So we had a date with these beauty operators in Billings. And we went up there, and we were in this, there was two of these girls, we had a date with them, we were in their house. No knock on the door, just door, in come these three guys that had been going to these girls. And they said they were going to break me and Frankie's legs and all that shit. And I said, fuck it, let's get after them. So, anyway, we kicked the shit out of these guys, and I'm doing 5 years probation for robbing that bar. So I could not get caught, see. So I said, we got to get the shit out of here, man. So we're running down through this alley. And Frankie said, hey, my sister lives up there. I said, well, let's go see her. So we went up there, and she was in bed because she worked at the First Security Bank in Billings. Now, she was a cute son of a bitch, my wife. And so we go up there, and he said, Diana, listen. She wants to introduce him to me. So she comes out there, and she knew who I was because of Forsyth. Her dad hated me. So anyway, she comes out that night, got on. Frankie said, get your clothes on, we're going downtown to the muzzle. And so we go downtown, we're sitting at a table, booth, and he knows the guy that's tending the bar there. So I always smoke cigars. I didn't chew cocaine, I smoked cigars. The bigger that I could get them, the big old long something. So she's sitting across from me. And so she was sitting there, and I'm looking at her, and so finally I take that cigar. So you know what I'm going to do to you? You know what? I said, I'm going to marry you someday. You're crazy. She said, I said, I'm going to marry you. And you remember that. You are not. And so then me and Fanny, I went back up there, seen her a couple of times and stuff. So then we started going together, see. I had my checkbook, which wasn't much worth of shit. So I wrote down in it $25,000 savings, $6,000 sent in checking account. And I had to ask her to marry me, see, before, and she didn't know, you know. So I take that checkbook and I lay it on the dash, and I put a piece of paper in it. So if it got moved, I'd know that she'd looked at it, see. So I could stop in a gas station, I'm gonna run in and get some cigars, and I come out, and there that piece of paper is gone out of that checkbook. So I'm taking her home, and she scoots over next to me. She says, do you want to get married? What'd you say about getting married? And I says, I'm playing the big role. See? What are you talking about? She said, you said one day you wanted to get married or something like that. And I said, No, I don't never remember. Yeah. Well, Doug, I love you very much and all that shit. I said, oh, all right, we'll get married. So we went up to her folks. Her dad wouldn't talk to me, see, for quite a while. And so we went up there one day, and he still didn't like me with the shit, because all the stuff, everything I did in Forsyth, everybody knew about it. And so we went in there, and he was sitting at the table and stuff. And her mother's there. She's over there by in another side. I said, come over here. She comes over and sits on my lap, and I put my arm around her. I said, now, isn't it something about guys supposed to ask their parents if they can have their daughter? I said, well, the reason I didn't ask you that is because if you'd have said no, I'd have took her anyway. And he said, okay, like that. And I said, I'm gonna tell you something. I know I ain't got a good reputation, but I'll never, ever cuss this girl out and hit her or none of that stuff. And that kind of melted things down then, and that was it. I didn't give a damn about women, so I wanted everything I get hold of. And I thought about her too, and then she's so damn nice that I thought, you know, better be good, you know, so. But, yeah, it turned out good. It went by fast. I look back, it went by fast. I got a picture sitting on the counter. I kiss it every night and morning. It still ain't over. I've had a lot of women, not a lot, 5 or 6, I can think of, call me up, want me to come over and cook me dinner and stuff, and we go somewhere. So there's no room in my life for another woman. If I spilled something on that floor, I reached down, picked it up, and ate it. If my clothes, this shirt, I wouldn't have this on if she was here today. You know, she just one hell of a cook, a mother. Jesus Christ, what a mother she was. I remember one time Frankie was about 3 or 4 years old, and she cooked fried chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy, and corn. And he was sitting at a drumstick, and he was just chawing the shit out, you know. And she walked by and gave him a kiss on the head and said, "You're so precious." How many women do that to kids, you know? No, I'll never ever get married again. I ain't even got no use to go with another woman, you know? Now, can you see why, when he was asking me all them questions about my thoughts about Montana and stuff,
Yeah.
where are you going to find a place this peaceful?